Good evening, everyone. It's really a pleasure again to be able to see you and to talk to you after what was like a long but a nice month. And I would like to share with you some of the experiences, the blessings that I had during my 3-week mission trip to Uganda. So I was in Uganda from 7th until 30th of September, and it was really a very blessing time. It's a challenge to travel, especially during Corona period, because of so many tests you have to do. But I'm grateful that all the tests were negative, and I was able to go there. And what made it different this time was that I was going to meet a team which was already on the ground, making the preparations of how we can serve. In the previous mission trips, I've been going and arriving and having to arrange to do this. But for this one, it was really a blessing because members in the Love in Action knew about my coming, and we had already talked about what we'll be doing. And the main activity during the 3 weeks happened the second week. But before the second week happened, I got a bit sick after I had arrived. I got, was it like food poison? I don't know what I ate. Sometimes it happens even here. So I was like, really good, please help me. I wanted to have this to go over so that I can be able to go to the countryside, because that's where we had planned to go. But after 3 days, I felt better. And then after like 1 week, we arranged and went. We went to this place. I hope you can see it. This is the place that I've been updating you about. It's amazing because even in this place, I can really give a testimony on how it came to be this place. Initially, it was supposed to be like just like a small church of like 40, 50 people. But when I went back to Uganda last year, I saw that they had like started something big, and I was asking God, really help me, because I don't know how I can be able to sponsor this project. But God has been really helping, and has almost reached completion. There's still some finishing stuffs to do, but it's a place people they can use inside. So like I said, it was supposed to be a church, but I think God has some other plans, and these are some of the plans that I've been thinking about. If you look at the 3 main parts of ministry of Christ's ministry on earth, it had the aspect of healing, teaching, and preaching. And to me, I think these things are really so important, especially when it comes to sharing the gospel and sharing what we believe with others. So ideally, we would have a church, a school, and a healing place in a same location. And I think that's one of the reasons why the Catholic Church succeeded in the early centuries of the 19th century, because they did this very well. They could build a church, a school next to each other, and sometimes a hospital. But we as main Adventists, I think we have really, I don't know whether we have mastered that. I won't have to go far away. We'll just have to go here in the country of Belgium, where you have like close to 30 churches. But yes, now we know that we have one school, but it has just started. So it's like what has been happening. So I saw that there's a need to teach, there's a need to heal, and there is also a need to preach. I think in most cases we have focused about the study part, which is preaching, but the 2 parts, they are also very important. Jesus said that, okay, go teach and preach. Also he healed, also he taught people how to do things. So I thought about this place, maybe it can turn into something like that. So it can be a place where people can go to pray. It can be people where people can be taught about so many things, and also a place which can maybe be used for healing. Like this is how it was in 2020 last year before Corona came. I went there. I update you that so you can see the difference between this and this right now. So I really thank God for the way He has made this work possible. I could have imagined that I could kind of sponsor this kind of project. So I have this quotation here. I like it so much, and it's why I'm bringing it. It's also related to what we do as Love in Action ministry, as a ministry in Uganda. So it's a very common ministry of healing. It says Christ's method alone will give true success in reaching the people. The Savior mingled with men as one who desired their good. He showed his sympathy for them, ministered to their needs, and won their confidence. Then he bade them to follow me. And here another quote says, there is a need for coming close to people by personal effort. If less time were given to sermonizing and more time were spent in personal ministry, greater results would be seen. So it's really so key. And I was like, I had like a chance to speak to some pastors in Uganda. I was like, this is how it's supposed to be. We have to reach people where they are, on the ground, in their homes, and talk to them. This is also from Testimonies for the Church, volume 6, where I actually say that there should be less preaching and more teaching. There are those who want more different light than they receive from hearing the sermons. And really, I really saw it when I was there with these people in Love in Action, how we worked and how we saw the need for teaching. We'll see it as we move forward. Yeah, this is the mingling part. Like Christ said, he mingled with people. We take it literally. So we could visit some homes. But before we could visit these homes, there was a person on the ground who spent like 1 month or 2 months trying to go around in those villages looking for those people who need help, who are like in extreme poverty. Almost everyone needs help, but there are those people who really needs a lot of help. So when we arrived, he already had like a list. Oh, people say, oh, I visited this person and they are really, really not doing so well. So this is one of like the families I visited. I was with a friend. Yeah, he did the photos. This is like it's like 2 ladies. There's also one gentleman. He's not in the photo, but they have like I don't know, is it like 8 kids? These are kind of families who even struggle who are not even sure if they have like the supper. Here, I mean, our fridges are stocked and all those kind of things, and they just don't know. So we bought food, we took for them, we took time, we spoke with them, we tried to know more about their needs. This is another family. Yeah, we visited. It's a Adventist members in that new church, but he got into trouble after he became like an Adventist. His father was a bit not so happy with it, but we said, okay, let's go and visit their homes and try to know how they are doing. Unfortunately, the father was not there. But it's a challenge because again, so that sometimes we go, like it happens, we make those evangelistic meetings, people get baptized, and you report the numbers. We like baptize this and then this kind of numbers, but you don't really know the details about those people. some of those people will not even be allowed to go back in their homes simply because they changed their religion. Something we saw, and it's so sad because we saw that there is a need to know who are these kind of people, who the challenges are they facing. So we visited this family, we encouraged them. Okay, so this was more of like the mingling part when I was there. We made like a group. So there were so many activities where we don't have photos because we're in a place where there is no electricity. Sometimes it gets charging your phone to have a photo was a challenge. I had some power banks, but yeah, I think they were not enough. But that's one of the things we did, that we reached people and tried to know the kind of the problems they are going through. Here, the sympathy part was what we did. We had some medication. We do have like a physician who is part of the ministry. He works for the government, but he was like, "You guys, I will be with you in that 1 week." So we made it simple. We started like treating people inside this building, which is like a church. And to be honest, on day one, because we didn't make any announcements or anything, but somehow people knew that we were there. On day one, it reached around 11 o'clock, and I was like, really? Would anyone come here to get any kind of treatment? So I was like, wow, I don't know. But then at around 11, people started to arrive. It was really a blessing. You can see that there were around 36 people who came with different difficulties, diseases, complaints. But not all of them were just coming for that. Some were just saying, I want to pray for me. We're really so touched by this. Day 2, it was around 48. Day 3, around 40 people, 50 people, because apparently they were going and telling others, at that place, they can offer you some medication free of charge. And it happened that even some people were walking 2 hours plus to get at this place. It shows how people are suffering in these kind of areas. I was told that there is a shortage of drugs, so some of them were trying to go to the government institution to get drugs, but they would reach there and they tell them there is no drug, and that person had to use his transportation to go back home with nothing. So they use the little money they have to go somewhere where they expect to get help, but they end up getting nothing. So in around just 1 week, more than 300 people came to this place. It was really a very good way of also people getting to know about Adventist, because in that area there is a Catholic church, there is a Protestant church, or Protestant or charismatic church, and a Protestant church. So Adventism, it's really so new, but people get to know about us. Like, oh, Seventh-day Adventist, I never knew about them. But they are doing something other people are not doing. So it was really a blessing. And here's just a photo in a corner where people were like diagnosed and given medication. But here, where the photo was taken, there were like 50, 60 people just sitting there, and there was always someone who was engaging with them, speaking with them, in a form of encouraging them, but also in a form of finding their spiritual needs, because we thought that as they come to this place, we can try to attend at their physical needs, which may have to do with their illness, but also the spiritual needs. There was someone who was there doing it. People who came at this place around here were surprised. Around 70% of them were women. We don't know really why, but one of the reasons I had was that, yeah, women, especially in those developing countries, are facing so many challenges. Being a mother, being a wife, all these kind of things, they kind of can say crush them, because some, it was seen that they had, like, for example, high blood pressure, which can also be related to, I mean, not being ease at home. You have husbands who still like beat their wives. It's so sad. That's why even the teaching part should come in. So many ladies, especially elder women, there were so many, were like the majority. And our physicians were like surprised to see the number of people who are suffering from high blood pressure, diabetes, and brucella. High blood pressure, it was often associated with people in the big cities, but now even in the countryside, and it has to do a lot with the lifestyle. And again, it goes to the teaching part, because people, you would see that some of the activities they do, they don't really think about how they can, that those activities, or how, I mean, how they are, what they do can affect their blood pressure levels. Diabetes, of course, it's there. People, again, they still need to be taught how to, for example, consume less sugar. It's for them, like, oh, it's sweet, it's good, I have to use it. But of course, it can bring some other problems. And brucella, as you know, it's associated with eating or using animal products. It's it's really a challenge down there, that our physician was like, wow, so many people, they have these brucella problems, these bacteria from animal products in their bodies. So while that was going on, I had like a chance to share about the new start and nutrition, exercise, water, sunshine, temperance, air, rest, and trust in God. It was really a good experience. A big thank to Sister Daniela, who gave me the PowerPoints I was using. It was, especially when it came to nutrition, because of these problems I saw, I tried to talk about how the plant-based diets are the better option, because it was evident that lots of meat consumption was also kind of affecting how people are living. It's so sad, because you assume that you have something good to eat, you value it, it's the same thing that is causing you problems. So I had really a good experience sharing with them. It's something that anyone can do. It's just the basics. But what I can assure you, that even the basics, for some people, they don't really know about it. And I get to know more why Jesus often says teach, why the spirit of prophecy tells us to teach, and teach, because yeah, we need to teach about these things. And when people see changes in their lives, they will say, wow, this is really so true. During the new start also, we talked about water. Yeah, many were admitting that they only drink water when they are feeling thirsty, those kind of things. But it shouldn't be like this, because okay, we are in this region where it's also there's a water problem. It's not easy, but again, there is some photo I showed, which was about a well, but it's something that can be at least modernized if people come together in the village. But they need, again, someone to teach them, someone to show them how it can be done. because apparently everyone just relaxes and maybe assumes the government will come and work for them. The government doesn't do a lot, so there is also a need for people to be taught how they can help themselves. So those are some of the things we are doing. Were new to us because see, this photo was before the corona hit, the years before, when we used to go to the hospitals, but unfortunately we couldn't go because of those reasons. So we continued mingling with the people, and this couple here, they came to our meetings, and they got some. I don't know, maybe I don't know whether you can see it, but this gentleman, it's a husband and a wife. The husband has some eyes problems. Very often when he looks in the light, um, like uh, like at night, he was telling him he would almost, release tears. Don't know what was happening to him. They use candles, not even candles. They are this kind of thing. I don't know how you call them, but they use paraffin, and they put a thread into the paraffin, and that thread they light it, and it kind of brings the light in their room. So what I did was I gave them this small little I don't know whether you can see it, is the husband is holding, it's something black that's like a tiny solar panel, and here he has like a bulb. So this solar panel can easily charge that bulb during the day, and they can use it during the night. It's really so, to me, it's so small, but it had a big impact on them. The next day they were coming and like, oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. I saw how something small like that, it's a challenge, because like the countries in sub-Saharan Africa, they are blessed with the sunshine, but very few people get to use the solar power, which we think is much cleaner and much safer comparing to other sources of light. During our visits in the hospital, like these ones, with so many people who are burnt, and very often they were like candles. A candle can fall down in a little house, and everything can catch fire. Those are the risks you might not easily get with this kind of solar. So these are little things that you do, but when it has a big impact. And I pray that we can also try to ask God, say, God, what can I do? But in order to know these kind of things, you have to go where people are, talk to them, go in their homes, share meal with them, and then as they speak, you try to see maybe where you can help. I was telling members in Love in Action that we are going to visit people, and I'm sure the people we are going to be visiting, they have lots of problems. Maybe if he's giving a list of 10, I don't know, 20, but I'm sure out of 10 or 20, out of 10 or 20, we might have something, one or two, that we can be able to solve with that problem that person had. So that's how we went outside, not to solve every problem those people have, but to see those little ones we can solve, but which has a very big impact. This is another lady we visited. She's 80 plus. She lives alone. There are so many single mothers there, so many widows. Very often the husbands die before the wives, so they end up living alone. And she's really so energetic. She likes chatting, and her problem, like I posted on some of the points on Facebook, was the toilet or the pit latrine. Before I go to that, I always remember this text in James chapter 1, verse 27, where it says, pure and undefiled religion before God and the Father is this, to visit orphans and widows in their trouble, and to keep oneself unspotted from the world. So when we were like visiting this lady, she was like, okay, Guys, I have so many problems, but one of the urgent problem I have is that like the toilet. This is like you won't believe this because yeah, they are people like 95 or 96%. They don't have toilets the same way we have them here, where we use water and everything. There you have to dig a pit latrine and kind of make a concrete on top, put something which are strong, and then that's how you go to the toilet. So there you basically need a pit latrine and a small house. That's all. But you can see, like for example, her toilet. It's really, it's first of all, it's dangerous. It's shallow. It's dirty. It's broken. Everything you would imagine. You can look at it. It's really so sad. It's the one here in the photo on the left. As you can see it, it's in a very bad condition and very dangerous. So what we decided was to start building a new one. I don't have a photo here, but I'll show you some photos. Soon it will be complete, or maybe I'll be able to see a photo soon. But this is a problem. Okay, it's kind of, this one takes more time and more resources, money-wise. As I don't know, we are calculating a smaller toilet finished digging and building might cost around 150 euros. But again, a person has a proper place to go. And while we were doing this work for the lady, people were like asking, who are these people doing this? So we're also being a witness because people in the village, in fact, most people who really saw what we were doing, they were not those who we helped, but those who were like passing by. Like, who are these people? Then we would introduce ourselves and what we believe in. This is another photo of the service that was being provided. This is in that church. This is where we would where we said the vestry will be. Like you can see, it still has to be finished, but we use the vestry as the prayer and counseling place. So people were coming for medication, but not just for medication. Some were planning to be prayed for and also to get counseling. So we have one member of the team who is experienced in that. He actually joined that during that same week. So we were really so happy because we needed someone like him who is good in counseling and in praying with the people one-on-one. So we are so blessed to be able to have this kind of service. Yeah, this is kind of the form we're like using to talk to people, record the date, the names, the age, the address, because all of these people, 300 plus people, we want to keep track of them. Those names in their books and the phone numbers are in there. So we are trying to, even now, there's someone who is trying to reach them, call them, ask them, how are you feeling? Did you get better? It is. So it wasn't like we serve and we wanted to stay connected with these people. Another thing we did was also trying to, this one was not done at the level I wanted it to happen to. I hope next time we can do better of it and more of it. The point of teaching people how to use herbs as medicine. Maybe we need also more experienced people in our team to be able to teach and present to them, because there they are so blessed with so many different herbs, good climate. It's like but very often they get in a problem and what they do is run to the hospital. Sometimes there's even no medicine. So we did a bit of that within the small group, but I think next time if we do it, we try to have more people who are experienced in using herbs, using activated charcoal, those kind of things to heal illnesses. So we want to do more of that next time. We also got a chance to meet the elders of one of the nearest local churches. Here I was also trying to emphasize on this point of having a wholesome ministry, not focusing on just preaching, because sometimes this is what the leaders demand. Okay, you go somewhere, you serve people, and then they ask, okay, how many people were baptized? How many people? I think the better question would be, how many people did you reach to? How many people did you serve? How many people do you care? Before you get to the issue of how many people were baptized. So we're emphasizing on this point because some thought, okay, this place would be like a church, but I was like, no, it's not going to be a church. This is going to be a place which would say like compromises of many things. You can even call it like an Adventist church, an Adventist center. So it won't be like, okay, this place is going to become and it's dedicated and then okay, it's just used for worship. No, people need to come here and feel safe. People need to come here and get services. We have a water tank where people can come and get some free water. So I were trying to talk about it, and they were also saw the points, and they're like, okay, this is what we should be doing and we should be focusing on. But as you can see, the place is still under construction. This is like the building we have. It has a section of kids. That's where we plan also to have some kind of like a little school. But there's still a lot of things which needs to be done to expand this place. If we we can have a place where we can teach people or teach some younger kids, or also a place where we can offer some healings, especially also teaching people about how they can use the herbs they have to get healed. So these are the main three things. Of course, that by God's grace, we think it can be done in here. It can be used as a church, it can be used as a school, and also as a treatment place. It's a long process, but I think this is how, by God's grace, it will be. It's not easy, especially financially wise. In extending this, for example, if you have someone to teach, sometimes you need something to sponsor this person. If you need someone to treat, you need a better place. But all in all, I could say that people in this village who looks at this place are like, wow, this is so good. But I will keep on telling people that it's not about bricks and cement. It's about people. It's about serving them. It's about being there for them. And then that in that process, you can also share your faith with them, because very often what we see and what also those pastors admitted that we go to many places, they do these evangelistic meetings, they get these powerful speakers and the choirs, they sing, people get like emotional and they like, oh wow, this is good, sounds nice, and many they get baptized. But I asked them, have you ever gone back to this place and saw how many people were baptized and how many people are still in the church? They all admitted that very often, most of the people, after just 1 year, they leave the church because it was just a moment of emotional that the message didn't really penetrate and reach their hearts. Some it does and they stay, but many they end up leaving the church. And one of the reasons is that what I say, that we don't even try to know those who have decided to know more about to join the church, what kind of challenges they are facing. Maybe it's a single mother, maybe it's a widow, maybe it's a man who is sick. All of these kind of things, we don't often go deep into them. But I think we need to do that, and it's what we are really trying to do in Love in Action. Love in Action itself is thank God it's growing. Now we have around 30 members. 30 members, and what I would say they are like volunteers. We are being more active in communicating. We are thinking about registering it. so that we can be able to serve more widely, but it will take time, too much paperwork, but God willing will be registered maybe as an NGO one day. We are around 30 members and it's still growing. We have people of different professions, thank God, and yeah, we're trying to expand and see how we can mainly share the message of Christ in the way that he did it, reaching people where they are, mingling with them, and winning their confidence. So that's one of the things we've been doing. Like I said, the healing, the teaching, and the mingling. And then there was also, of course, as I come to conclusion, there's also the funny part. As you can see, this is a friend, I think I've seen him before. When I'm there, he often looks for some fruits for me. There is some nice fruits, a jackfruit. I don't know whether you know it here. It's often in Asia and in Africa, but it's really so tasty. These are like avocados. So really, when he brings them, sometimes I give him like some little money. Some little money he also uses it in his school because sometimes they struggle to go to school. So it's like a win-win. Here on the right, it's some honey. Yes, the night before I came back, we went into the nature. We got some honey. This is just a very tiny part of it. This is like, yeah, this is the honey. It's 100% pure. And if we all know the uses, how many good things the honey can provide. And going back to the teaching point, you can imagine how many people they rush for sugar, which is made in a factory, which is not really good, instead of maybe taking time and using honey, which you basically have to make like a little house, and we bees will come, and maybe every once in a 4 months you can go and get some good honey. This is the teaching part again, maybe that you can teach people that, maybe instead of taking too much sugar, maybe honey, it can be better. These are some of the guys in Love in Action. When we are not visiting people, we are trying to yeah, to do some work around the church, trying to compact the soil before we make the concrete. These some of them again, we took some photos before we and this was on the Sabbath. We're actually lucky because Uganda is still in lockdown and the churches were closed. But during that last Sabbath, when we were leaving, the president had announced that the churches they can be opened. So on that last Sabbath, we were able to worship together, which was really so wonderful, and it was really a blessing. There are many things that I can share, but yeah, because of time and maybe I didn't get enough time to put things in a PowerPoint. I had to work all of this week, but what I can really share with you, what I can really tell you, what I can really emphasize, that there is a need to go out and do what we have to do as Adventists before the end comes. I know we all have these ideas. I know these projects, like maybe I need a house, maybe I need a car, all these kind of things. But really, friends, people there, and like the word of God says, the harvest is quite pretty, but we need to go there. We need to send there the workers to be able to, to finish the work. We need to have that courage. And I'm also calling on especially the young people. Very often we have excuses, but really, if you are young, do your best. If you are young, do your best to serve God, like and Ecclesiastes says, really, because time changes so much. Like now we have seen I was there, I went there, I was just for 3 weeks. But maybe if I was single, I could have gone with, if I've been there maybe quite longer, but because maybe I have some other responsibilities. So this goes to those who are still single, that you can use your best of time to serve God. If you are married and have no kids yet, also use that opportunity, because, for example, when the kids comes again, your time shortens. Some of your time shortens. But I mean, whatever age you have, whatever profession you are doing, let's try not to be carried away by how this world perceives success as in the form of what you have, but more of who you are and what you believe in and how you share it with others. As Love in Action, it's still a new ministry. We are still learning so many things, but many people are enjoying it. Many people are starting to say, wow, this is something we never thought about when it comes to outreach, that we can outreach also in this kind of way. So many we are really blessed. I'm already missing them. We are already trying to see how we can expand, because now that place we visited, we told them, okay, people were like, okay, how can we be part of you? Like, okay, this is great. So this is what we do. And some people, they joined, because what we also try to emphasize on that when we go to the place and share these things, we want to make sure that also those people can really grab them and also be able to share with others, because we want this ministry to grow and grow and grow, and try to reach those people who really need help, because there are so many bad things happening. Corona has made things so much difficult, has made so many things uncertain. It has increased darkness in the world, but like we all know that it's during too much darkness that even the smallest light can be seen. The darker it is, the more light, the brighter light the light becomes. So as we all don't know what's really happening, as we all ask, what shall we do? Let's try to use this time. When people, even more people now, they say, okay, we can't really trust, for example, science, because science says this and this and this, but sometimes it changes. Let's use this time as an opportunity to serve God and to be that little light that will shine in this world. May God bless you. And I don't know whether there's time for questions, but maybe time is running out. We can have it another time. Otherwise, it was a wonderful experience. It was a wonderful work. The work is continuing. Continue to pray for us. Continue to support us. And let us continue to pray for each other. May God bless you.